If you want to summon the new gods at home, the first thing to do is to find yourself a quiet spot and surround yourself with items that make you think of the new gods to the exclusion of all other things. So what I would do is obviously put down a bunch of comics, the covers that I like, or trade paperbacks, whatever you've got. Wear something that makes you think of Metron. When I was doing that stuff, I would draw the Metron thing on my head like a sigil. And I suppose now that I've done Final Crisis, I realise you could draw the full Metron thing on your chest, which might be really good. Like any other, you do a banishing to try and get rid of all other influences, the one that you want, and you sit and you summon the new gods. You ask them to appear, you tell them how much you love them and how great they are and how wonderful they are and how useful it would be if they come into you. And usually, like most prayers, it starts off with a kind of supplication, like you are the god, you are brilliant. Then it's like you start bringing them into you, and it's like we are, this is how I feel, and then suddenly you are the god, and you're talking to yourself about your own great qualities. And slowly but surely, if you're doing it right, you will reprogram your thinking into a kind of straight up Metron thinking. And you just keep doing that, keep emphasising Metronness as much as you can. I'm sure there's music you could play. I used that kind of the Ligeti stuff from the 2001 soundtrack, the kind of atonal chanting, because it sounds cosmic, for the same reason Kubrick used it. So you do that kind of thing, and anything that can put you in the head state, music, lights, whatever, Kirby circuitry. You could do all kinds of things. You could build things. You could use statues now, because I'm sure there are toys and statues available of these characters, which you could use as actual devotional items. And it's a kind of reduction of all thought until there's no thought left but new gods or specific new god that you want. And you'll find that they will communicate if you keep that up and if you're able to bring yourself to the one-pointedness. I would recommend that you find yourself a job that allows you to disappear for long periods of time. I would suggest you find yourself somewhere to stay where you're not going to be bugged a lot, and just spend a lot of time on your own thinking about stuff like this, reading about books about things like this. Whatever else you want to do, you can take drugs to get there very rapidly, but you then get confused as to what you were experiencing was a chemical effect and what wasn't. And there's also the question of, does it matter? But that's for individuals to figure out. I would never urge people to take psychedelics because it's still illegal, but everyone will do what they want to do to explore. I took them at the time knowing they were illegal because I had an idea of something I wanted to do with them. But there's a ton of ways. If you meditate, learn some Buddhist meditation techniques, you'll find yourself getting to this place. You just sit on a hill for a long, long time, you'll get to this place. If you're creating artwork, if you're allowing yourself to be in the poetic sphere or the spiritual sphere a lot, you will find yourself inexorably drawn to this place. But it needs time. It's why monks and those guys disappear for years and don't even talk, because you have to really tune down the world. It's really important to tune down the world. So that, again, it's why Christ went into the desert for 40 days. It's why all these shamans and seers go on vision quests. It's to tune out the world and let everything else in.
Yesterday we were going to talk about this, and Aaron was kind of skeptical. What would you say as the voice of the skeptic?
No, please do, because it's okay, be sceptical, because these things don't survive unless skepticism is projected on them. If I can't answer your question, then there's a hole in what I'm saying. So.
Well, I guess to me, in the way that we were discussing it, was that it was coming across more as just like a worldview, a way of like, we were talking about intention, and they were saying like, oh, we set this goal and we said we want something to happen, but then we work very, very hard towards that goal. And when that goal is achieved, I kind of feel like it was undermining the hard work you put into it to say that it was magic.
But the magic is the work. If I choose to say the magic is the work, then each moment of that becomes elevated into a kind of poetry. And remember all the people who don't do this. Think of all the people who don't make the film they want to make, who don't write the book they want to write, who don't play the football game they wanted to play. They didn't do the magic. They're sitting there thinking, I wish I could do that. They haven't crossed the abyss of action between having a thought and actually making it manifest in the world, which is magic. You can think of a book, and everyone can think of a book, But there's so many people, taxi drivers out there who've never written the book, they've never crossed the abyss to put the magic into practice. It's like you guys, you might never have made this, you might never have come to Scotland, but intent brought you here. That is the magic. It's not, don't think of magic, it's not something special, it's what we do all the time. And and there's just different ways of framing it, and everyone can put their own gloss on it and make their own gods, you know, to explain what's happening. You know, a Greek, as I said, would say, well, you guys were influenced by the electric power of Zeus to do this. You were influenced by Mercury, who allowed you to do the communication necessary to create this and to get all this equipment. But to you, it's work. Right? And that's fine, because that's your view of it, because you're elevating the human element of it. You're a humanist, obviously. You're thinking, wait a minute, I put all this bloody hard work. I'm not going to say it's angels that go. No, you are the angel. You did it. You're the one who crossed the abyss to put a thought into reality. And that's what I mean by magic. Yeah, and it can just be seen as a worldview. But to choose to see it as magic elevates everything. It's just a decision. For me to see it as more than work is to see it as an act of to bring a fucking insubstantial thing into solidity is the work of magic. You know, it's this sorcery, like nothing. A thought, you can't touch it, and then suddenly you have a DVD that people can watch and experience this interaction we've had. That's magic, you know, and if you want to just, it's your work, then that's work too. You are the goddess in this, he's the god, we're all part of creating that thing that never existed in all of history until this moment, and that's what I call magic.